When I was 17, I that was the first time I drank, had sex, and smoked bud. And started smoking cigarettes and blacks and stuff. And that's also my birthday, 17. Um, and so I was walking into this apartment. I had just started smoking and drinking. I was 17. I was starting to really rebel against God, because all sin is rebellion against God. But I was really starting to rebel against God and just get careless. And so, I was kind of, you know, I felt like, uh, when you first start to drink and smoke and have sex, you just feel like, wow, this is something new. So I was getting into that. And I was walking in this apartment, and I had like a bottle of Mad Dog 2020, and we were about to get drunk off Mad Dog and smoke weed and stuff. And I couldn't wait. But before I walked into this apartment, uh, I heard this voice in my head, and now I know what the voice. It was the Holy Spirit in my mind, in my head, and it was really clear. It was like really, and I didn't know that the Bible. I didn't know that the Bible at this time. I didn't know that the Bible said that the children of God will know God by His voice. But the Holy Spirit, it was like this still voice. It was just so different. It was really different. I'd never really experienced nothing like that, and it was so clear. I almost had to like look to the left and right, like who said that, kind of. And this voice said, "What about your music?" Right? And mind you, at this time when I was 17, I didn't do music. I didn't do music. When I was about like, I always, played with music when I was younger. I wanted to do music when I was really young. I remember when I watched Usher, his first video was like My Way, when I was like 6, and I seen that video, and I was like, wow, I can do that. Like I want to do that. I used to love Michael Jackson. I used to dance like him. I used to sing a little bit, but I didn't believe that I could really do it. So to me, it was just like something, I didn't take serious. But so this voice says, "What about your music?" Right? And then I say back to this voice in my head, I say, "What about it?" Like, I didn't even know what it was talking about. I didn't do music. I didn't have a guitar. I never wrote a song. I never rapped. I just rapped with the homies, freestyle. We listened over Lil Wayne tracks. But later on, I ended up finding out what that voice is talking about. Um, and so, like I said, 17, 18, 19, I was drinking like a fish. Um, I was going through depression. I felt void. I just felt like depressed. I didn't know what I was on earth for. And that feeling makes you feel depressed. And I was drinking a lot. I was partying, doing whatever. And so I asked God one day. I literally opened my mouth and had to ask God, because I was so frustrated. And I was about 19 at this time. And I said to God, I said, why am I here? What am I doing on earth? Like, I don't know why I'm here. Am I supposed to go to work or something? Like, what am I doing here? Why am I on earth? I want to know my purpose. Sincerely, just talked to God and told him that. And about a year later, I get a phone call from my brother, and he's like, "You want to hop on this track, this rap track?" And so I do. I'm like, "Yeah, I want to do a rap. I'll rap, yeah." But what happened was is that I fell in love with music after that first song. My first song I ever did, I fell in love with it. I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And so, um, what happened after that is that I kept doing music, as you guys probably know. In my 20s, I turned like 2021. I got a guitar, and then fell in even more love with music. And what God did was, when I got that guitar, what God did was, um, what happened to me, what started to happen to me as I got older. I appreciated and was so grateful to God that I couldn't even help but spend time with God and just talk to Him and do research on God and just read about God and watch witnesses about God and just stories about the Bible and just learn about God and pray and talk to God more. That's what happened because I was so grateful. I didn't even know what I was capable of doing with the guitar and lyrically. Like, I didn't know I could put lyrics together the way I can. I had no clue. So it blew my mind, and I was so grateful to God that I started spending more time with him. And now, like, God was like, he was always real to me, but this was like a miracle to me. Like, he really snapped. Like, he revealed his power to me when he did that. Like, when you start doing music in your 20s and then you do it to the point where other people tell you that they think you're going to be famous and stuff like that, that's different. I've had, not to brag, I've had multiple people tell me that they thought I was going to be, they think I'm going to be famous one day. And it was so crazy. It was bizarre. Like, cause I didn't even know that I could do it. I didn't even know I could play guitar. I didn't know I could write songs. I didn't know I could put words together the way I do. I didn't know I was lyrically inclined and I could do all these things with music. So I was so grateful that, like I said, I started spending more time with God. And then around like my mid-20s, God started to change my heart. The more you start to talk to God and just spend time with God, you change. Literally, like, your brain changes. And your heart will change too. And what happened was that I started to grow and enjoy a love for telling people about God. And I started to love people so much that I wanted their soul to go where my soul was going when they deceased. And just like a year or two ago, you can see it on my Instagram. I can't help, I have to tell people, I want people to know God. God is not just God. To me, God is not, I don't look at God as just God. Like, God is my Father. Like, I enjoy God. He gives me so much he gives me so much understanding and just spiritual, like, I can see things spiritually sometimes. And I'm just like, wow, like, there's some people out there that don't even know you. And it frustrates me. Because, like I said, when your heart, when you're talking to God and your heart begins to change, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that God made me perfect. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, God will start to change your heart when you continue to talk to him, and you won't even notice the change. You know what I'm saying? You'll have to look back at yourself like, wow, I used to be that person. And that's what I did. Like, I just turned 30. And like, really, like, when I turned 29, my 29, when I was 29, and just like now, things are really starting to, I'm really coming into, something's really, there's like a pivotal change going on right now for me. Just like spiritually, things are really changing because I'm changing. And it's because, God's changing me, and he's changing my heart because I continue to spend time with God. Like, I never left that aspect. I mean, regardless of what I do wrong, I'm still going to spend this time with God. Like, all I do is, all the time, I'm just looking up something about God, the Bible, or watching something, like, just because I love God so much. And then, I get to tell you guys about it. And that's real love. That really is real love. Like, I don't even have to know a person, to love them and to love their soul, though. It's like, it's not them. It's like their soul. Like, when they decease, like, I want their soul. I want their soul to go to heaven. I want everyone's soul to go to heaven. And so that's what, like, changed my heart, because I started to grow a passion for wanting to tell people about God. And so, yeah, that's how God used my purpose to change my heart and grow my relationship with him. It all started from music.